special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. One last ride, we give it a go tonight, Homestead-Miami Speedway, in the final race, Season 8 of the All-American Cup Series gets ready to wrap up, and tonight we crown the champions for 2024 on this 1.5 mile track. 18 to 20 degrees of banking and home of some fantastic racing here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It was home of the championship also for about 20 years straight. And tonight it will be where we crown our champion for 2024. And for Season 8, our teams, our manufacturers, all the champions getting crowned here tonight. And you'll find out here in just a few minutes who that is going to be when it's all said and done. I am the captain. Hopefully having a great Thursday night as we get ready to go for 134 laps and 200 miles around this Homestead-Miami Speedway. Should be a fun one. Qualifying is literally about to begin. I know we're running a little behind with things, but that's where that 5-minute warm-up really helps me out. Thank you, Casey, for doing that, by the way. As we will head on the track right now for qualifying, as we'll talk about this 1.5 mile track and so many other things that we are going to see here this evening in the race. And of course, our qualifying is presented by Mike Husby Designs and the Pole Award for this season. So appreciate what Mike does to help out the All-American Cup Series. Of course, the presenting partners all this season long, from Sim Racer Hub to the Melnick's name is literally just slipped my mind. The Kakamura HR Management also is on there. And Leaf Guard of Vermont, of course, can't leave those guys off of the list. So, FYI, you're going to see a little bit of a different look here. Hopefully not all night, but at least for a little bit. Having some timing and scoring issues with SDK, which is unfortunate. They've done a great job, so hey, things are going to happen, unfortunately. But some reason I cannot get the upload and stuff to work out, and had to download some things, and things are still downloading. So we're going to go to an old buddy of mine, and let's see if we can get this thing launched up here. It should work out. Let's see if I can get it up here on the screen. I might have to do this another way. But anyways, qualifying is underway, and nobody's ran a lap yet. There's the 66 of Trevor McLaughlin as he crosses the line here. All right, so apparently that way's not going to work. So we got to make one other error. Is right on board with McLaughlin around this track. There's Stephen Miles rolling out. Stephen with a legit shot right now at the pole, or at the championship. He can get there. It's going to be very tough, though. Unfortunately, a little bit of a smaller crowd here this evening. Steve Ritter on pole right now. 33-19 is where we sit in this race. And we're going to talk to hopefully some drivers here before we get to the race and once I get all these issues figured out, we'll do this. So we're gonna go to an old. When all else fails. When all else fails, you just put the screen up and literally go like this. There we go. That's how we look at qualifying right now. Things are going to look a little different here as I work on it, but either way, this is what we got for right now. To work with a big shout out to SimRacer Hub, SimRacer apps, of course. One I've always used when I'm out there on the track racing, specifically, and sometimes it comes out to work for a broadcast too when needed. So, Steve Ritter on the pole right now. Mark Whitley is tied with him in the lap, so it literally is coming down to the 1,000th right now. As a matter of fact, it's 2 1,000ths separating a 190 to a 193 for Ritter over Whitley. Stephen Miles there in third. Nick Sargent, Spence Thompson, your rookie of the year for season number 8. He is going to be your 5th place starter, it looks like, as of right now. Appreciate the viewers coming to hang out here this evening. And not the way we wanted to plan the final broadcast for the All-American Cup Series here in the Captain eSports Network, but unfortunately it's what we got right now, and we're going to work our way through it as per usual. As here's Casey Carrington now on track. And switches over to Justin Thompson there in the 3 car. Justin just completing his first lap here of the race, or the qualifying, I should say, as he crosses the line as we ride on board. Here's the 36 car. Of Curtis White. He is currently 20th right now to 21 cars. As he's going to come up to the start-finish line in the Outlaw Monte Carlo, and Curtis goes to P4. Good lap for him. A 33.25. Matthew Weeks, what do you know? The guy with the momentum and the most wins this season snags the pole at the last second, 33.18. And Matthew Weeks going to be the pole sitter here. And a big shout out to Mike Husby Designs for sponsoring the pole award here in season number 8. As Matthew Weeks gets himself another pole here as we move into the warm-up now. And of course, this is 5 minutes long. And with 21 cars, we'll have to check and see. I know the point separation. Matter of fact, let's go over that really quickly here. As I'm going to go to this screen really quickly, and so allow me to put the points up and stuff. So let's take a look at the points as we enter tonight's race. Mark Whitley, a pretty sizable advantage right now of 31 over Stephen Miles. It's 51 back there to Casey Carrington. So Carrington, unfortunately, is eliminated. So it's down to Miles versus Whitley. And with the number of cars in this race, it is going to take something drastic to happen for Miles to win the championship over Whitley. Anything is possible. I mean, we still got cars showing up, believe it or not, here, as we're up to 23 cars now in this race. But anything can happen here between Miles and Whitley. And hopefully, if I think I saw Brantley in there. Brantley, send Mark over to Discord if you could real quick. And I'm going to see if I can get a word with him while I work on all this mayhem. Overall points, Carrington, unfortunately, has conceded the championship to Mark Whitley. Whitley won that championship last week officially when he finished the race. An 82-point lead over Casey Carrington. So Mark Whitley is the overall champion for 2024 in the All-American Cup Series. That'll be a second straight championship on that end. Team points, Laser Racing pretty much has locked it up over CX2. Congratulations to Stephen Miles and his crew on the championship there. Over in the Rookie of the Year standing, Spence Thompson, 84 points, has won the Rookie of the Year. Of course, Spence didn't even make a couple races this season. That shows you how good of a season he has had. Manufacturer points, Chevrolet officially has clinched that with 102. So congratulations to the Bowtie Brigade on winning the championship. Let me check this update. Oh, it's snail's pacing here. So looks like we are going to kind of do this in a little bit old school way. So forgive me, as unfortunately you got to do what you got to do. I don't know why all of a sudden I decided to want to update. Had no issues last night, but it wouldn't be an All-American race if I didn't have an issue at one point each season. Last season it was the cell phone broadcast. This season, or that might have been 2 seasons ago. This season it's the timing and scoring. So, all right, let's see. We got about 2 minutes left here, so let's get Whitley real quickly and get a word with him as he looks to lock this thing up here tonight officially. And he would be a 3-time champion, and the only 3-time champion in the All-American Cup Series history. As we'll get Mark in here real quickly. Mark, obviously a big night here for you already. Have wrapped up the 2024 championship, and pretty much just need a solid run here tonight to officially become the first 3-time champion here in season and series history, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's been looking forward to this race all week. And if my math's right, as long as we don't finish dead last, we should be good. So it's going to be just to try to avoid everybody if possible and run by myself as much as possible.
Now, I say this as a joke here, because my luck, me saying this, I'm going to make myself look terrible saying this to you. But so lap 1, when something weird happens and you get involved, and all of a sudden now we're like, oh, he's 20th, oh, he's 19th. We're going to laugh about it later, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I think if my math's right, if Steven gets max points and I finish dead last, we tie. But then I think he'd have tiebreaker because he'd win one more race than me.
Ooh.
So as long as I finish not dead last, if I finish 22nd or better, I believe my math is correct on that.
Has starting from the pits become an option here?
You know what? That's probably not a terrible idea.
Oh,
I like starting up front though, so I don't know if I can get that lap led, then I think that'll pretty much
officially do it. Well, all the best, man. You've had a great season. Obviously, all-time leader now in wins here in the series. Of course, 2-time champion, going on 3 tonight potentially. All the best, and obviously, let's see if you can go get it done.
Oh yeah, hopefully we can add to that list, and if not, we can at least continue the streak of championships.
Yeah, right. There you go. Best of luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mark Whitley, as he gets ready to go for his 3rd series championship. Thank you, Brantley, by the way, as I probably have just made Brantley nervous with those comments. Let's go trackside for the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We're just going to take a look at everything on my screen there. Discord and everything, huh? Let's take a look at the starting lineup. You see it over there on the left side of the screen. Matthew Weeks on the pole. Steve Ritter on his outside. Mark Whitley, Curtis White, Casey Carrington, your top 5. Going to see 23 cars here make the start of this finale. That'll go 134 laps here and 200 miles. We appreciate everybody joining us here in the Captain eSports Network, and bear with us as we work through the little bit of errors we have here. A little bit of a, I don't even know what to call it. As the green flag comes out, Matthew Weeks leads them in the Miami 200 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And our cameras, as always, presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. As Weeks out to a pretty good lead. And you heard Whitley say, I want to go get the lead lap here. And he's going to do it, shoots to the inside of that 11 car. And there it is right there, a lap led, so there's some bonus points. It might be official here to put the championship on Mark Whitley, but we're not gonna go there. We'll wait till the end of the race to officially crown the person. We're not gonna go to the late great Denny Green. We're not gonna crown his you know what right now. As Weeks has fallen back to second, Casey Carrington there third, Steve Ritter, Stephen Miles, your top five. Whitley shot out of a cannon there. Big shout out to also Sim Racing Apps for what they're doing here, for what they've done for iRacing and for drivers in general here, because this is an app that a lot of people use, including myself, especially when I was on the track. And it was always good to have as a backup option if I ever needed it, basically. On a night like tonight, for instance, as they come off turn 4. Whitley continuing to lead. How about that 66 car? Rolling the bottom here. Trevor McLaughlin, the 38 of Justin Ray to his top side. Al Ethier behind them in the 2 car. It's a battle for the 12th position right here. Kyle Ether getting a little free back there, and you see the Bud car of James Silvers. Brad Gelf also back there in that battle. Whitley continuing to lead. Casey Carrington has moved to second. As Ethier looks to make a move now inside of McLaughlin. This is the 13th position, so McLaughlin falling back here just a little bit at the start. Going to be kind of a tire preservation race here, in a race that actually did go caution free last year, and could happen again tonight with a little bit of a smaller field here. Again, bear with me if I don't respond, if you're chatting with me over in chat, only because I've got so many windows open on my other screen now that I'm kind of swapping around here just a little bit. As see the pass back there, that is the 21 of Christopher Murphy, I believe, making a pass. Just kidding. That was actually Jose Ruiz making the pass in the 23 car. And that Columbia Bubba Wallace paint scheme, as he gets a little free off turn 2. This track, you can race pretty much everywhere from the bottom to the top. You can catfish it, or you can rim ride, whatever you decide. But the one thing is for sure, as we peek up here at the front, Mark Whitley has not gotten away from the dodge of Casey Carrington. You're going to see the lap times kind of fall off here as we go. Already seeing about a half second of a fall off here in the first 8 laps of this race. Dylan Rosenberg, appreciate your kind words, sir. And Melnick, I did see his message. Apparently, Craig Martin's got something on his car. I'll have to go investigate that. But got some homework myself I've had to work on a little bit here. As Casey Carrington has asked me to think about some of the top moments that I've had in All-American, and I can think of plenty of moments. How about I thought about the Leslie Law Daytona finish. I mean, I've talked about it so many times where there's a big wreck about mid-race or whatever, and he doesn't even lift and goes blowing through, and all of a sudden ends up in the top 5 and then ends up winning the race. And his one and only All-American Cup Series win. And I've got a few more here written down that we'll talk about as we go later on into the night. As Whitley continuing to run up front, let's jump back here. Justin Thompson felt pretty terrible about what happened last week with he and Miles at Charlotte. Of course, Miles got a little free off a corner, and then that 3 car just was there at the wrong time and got into the back of him and sent him to the inside wall there late in the race, and pretty much taking the 1 car out of contention, not only for the win, but potentially the championship. And Thompson felt terrible in it. Nothing, malicious or intended there. But just the way it works out as Thompson gets inside of Steve Ritter, moves up to the 3rd position. Ritter having a great run here so far in this race. As Thompson, a 34 won that time by. Fastest lap that time was Matthew Weeks, a 34 flat. So you already see, like I said, about a half second to 3/4 of a second fall off amongst these cars already. As there's Ritter, and then back here Stephen Miles, who's got the 36 of Curtis White behind him right now. And appreciate the viewers hanging out here this evening. If you're new on chat, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to be a part of the broadcast here. Not only tonight, but obviously the rest of the time that the captain's on the air. And on the other series that we'll be covering. Harrington 3/10 back from Whitley, and then Weeks about 7/10 back. A pretty close field here so far in this race. If you haven't learned the history about this track, it's funny. I think if I remember correctly, I get picked on by Carrington about this. Every time we race in Homestead, I share the whole story. And you know what? It wouldn't be a bad night if I didn't share the whole story. What happened to create Homestead-Miami Speedway? Write this down. There's a test later. Just kidding. Basically, this track used to be a mill. And in 1992, matter of fact, August 24th, 1992. And how do I know that date? Well, when you're a Floridian and you grow up about 2.5 hours north of here, and there's a Category 4 hurricane heading towards you, you're going to remember dates like this. And that was the day a storm called Hurricane Andrew hit Miami, Homestead, Florida, and wiped out that mill and pretty much the whole entire town of Homestead in the South Miami area. And they decided to build the Homestead-Miami Speedway on that mill, and the track opened in 1995 to an Xfinity race, and it was a small Indianapolis at that point. It was a rectangular 1.5-mile track, and Dale Jarrett actually won that first race. By the way, a multi-car wreck on the final lap happened, and Dale Jarrett won that race. It was one of those where he kind of scooted his way through and went to victory lane that night, that afternoon in a race. And then after some terrible injuries, including a couple unfortunate passings, they decided to redo the track and make it a 1.5-mile flat oval. And then, of course, 2003, they put the progressive banking in, and here we are at Homestead-Miami Speedway now. So there's your history, just for you. for some close battles here. It's a little bit tougher to do when you don't have that. The one stat or whatever I usually look at when I'm calling a race like this is I look for I look for the battle amongst each other, like where I see next instead of the far behind you are from the leader. I see usually the next position. I don't have that in front of me right now, so I have no way, like, other than looking at it and doing quick math and saying, oh, that car is battling this car. But we're going to peek over here to Craig Martin, who's got the Captain Esports Network GOAT. All right. I appreciate that. So 18 laps here complete so far. Carrington still trails by 0.3 of a second. Matthew Weeks there. Justin Thompson has kind of put himself on his own island there. Steve Ritter, all of 0.2 of a second back now. Not all together tonight, yes, with the series. This will be it for the network. I know Casey Carrington, if you guys are kind of curious what the plans are for the future, he actually did release a video today on the Discord page to his drivers and stuff. But basically, the future plans for this series is they are going to wait for the 2003 cars to be released. Of course, this is the ARCA car that, if you remember correctly, was accidentally turned into a Cup Car 1 update. And after everybody on iRacing got very excited very quickly, they were like, hey, let's keep this car. And basically, we're still running the ARCA car with a Gen 4 motor in it. So, and of course, with the scans of the Pontiacs and stuff like that that are coming for 2003, you'll see that car coming out. And basically, when that car is released, Season 9 will happen of the All-American Cup Series. And yes, there will be a new broadcaster at that point. And Casey will work on that. And I'm sure he'll find one that's suitable to do the broadcast for the league. And I'm sure, believe it or not, someone better than me. Because you can, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the, generosity of saying I'm the GOAT or whatever. But in life, we always find there's always somebody better. Let's just be honest. So Whitley now leads Matthew Weeks, who just made the pass. You saw it on camera there on Casey Carrington for the second position. There's Carrington on board with him right now. Justin Thompson, Stephen Miles, your top five. Ritter, Curtis White, Spence Thompson, Daniel Giroux in 9th. Nick Sargent right now, 10th. I'll get you a link after the race, Brantley. But don't feel like you need to do that. I do appreciate it, though. Sean, what you do is you can, if you have the ARCA car, you have this car. You just go through iRacing, you'll see the Gen 4 car. That's this car. Basically, just look for the word Gen 4 and stuff, and setup-wise, you'll see Gen 4 setups and that kind of thing. But yeah, as long as you have the ARCA car, you have this car. Let's go back here to the 24 car. Interesting paint scheme here. If you remember the Winston Cup throwbacks to where they ran the tribute schemes, all the champions. Of course, Jeff Gordon had his car that he ran. That's the car you're seeing tonight on the Nick Sargent car, and he's got a pretty tight little battle here with Daniel Giroux and Nick Leo. Kyle Ethier there behind him. And then Justin Ray, see him up there on the top side. Just to review some notes, remember, this is not a full fuel tank series. And taking a look at the notes, by the way. And you know it's kind of cool? This actually works out because I said in chat that I would show off some things that Casey has done for me. And he might get frustrated with me for doing this. But when last night in Discord, I kind of shared a message and I said, hey, I kind of shared how much hard work Casey puts into this. Okay, yeah, he runs the league and stuff. But what you guys don't see is this right here. all the notes he sends me right here. I mean, so you wonder like how I know the fuel mileage or have a decent idea in all these different things? Yep, that's how I know. 37 laps on a tank of fuel, somewhere in that range, so about 11 laps. And these cars will be on pit road. Of course, Whitley won this race last season. And Matthew Weeks finished second after starting 12th, so he had a lot better of a starting advantage tonight. Starting there on the outside, or sorry, on the pole for the race. Some great racing here so far. Absolutely, Sean, man. Best of luck. Appreciate it. Now, for those wondering, the last altogether broadcast will be in April, because basically as I'm doing it is each league, when I finish, I move on to the next league and so on and so forth. And I've got still Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays that I got racing on. Now, when we get to January, it'll be down to one league, and it'll be Tuesday nights all the way through April. But otherwise, yeah, after tonight, no more Thursdays, and then in December, Monday and Wednesdays will go away, and we'll be down to one night. But I am working on, for those curious, of course, if you're one that's been frustrated with the way the playoffs went in NASCAR this season, you will have an opportunity to watch something kind of decent, an idea that, you know, I just kind of threw together real quick and got some support from some guys in the Captain Discord page. And they were like, hey, we'll stay on top of you for this, but I am going to do a sim, an AI sim, and the links or the broadcast will be on the YouTube page when they're done, but we are going to simulate all of the cup races, basically on all AI and a full distance without the playoffs. And we're going to see, and I've got all the tools basically to make it happen, to make it as close to realistic as possible as we complete lap 30 next time by. You'll be able to watch the cup races, pretty much the exact schedule, stage racing and all, but I'm subtracting the playoffs out. And we'll see who would be the true champion of the Cup Series this season, which in real life we know it would have been Christopher Bell. So that'll be something you'll see me posting and stuff throughout. Actually, yeah, a lot of your paints are posted. I think you're one of the sources in there from the gentleman. I found them in the AI forums. Brantley, believe it or not. Oh, Nick Sargent, do you have an issue, or is he chatting? No, I think he's chatting it up here. Look at this fight back here. Giroux and Ethier, and of course Sargent back here getting a little free. There's James Silvers, who led a little bit of the points this season. Unfortunately, has fallen off here towards the end of the season. Yeah, this guy, the guy who put this all together, actually has a formula he put together. So like all the top drivers are like a certain percentage, and in the second tier, third tier, and all that stuff. And he has a randomizer where I can go in before each race and hit a button, and it kind of mixes it up so that the same driver's not the fastest the whole entire time. It's kind of unique. And then paint schemes and even a stage thing that's going to be cool to use. I've tested it out and it works. So basically what that'll do is you'll see I can just sit back and watch, and when the stage comes to an end, he'll throw the caution and everything for me. Here's Stephen Miles on board with him. He's 3.6 seconds back from the lead, and he is right there behind Justin Thompson as he tries to make up positions right now. Whitley starting to kind of stretch it out a little bit here. I say that as Carrington got a real good run off the back straightaway there as he and Weeks continue to swap the second positions right now. So who's going to be the first one to blink the pit road here? I'm not going to announce it. I'm just going to literally sit back and let it run. The only thing I'll do is if like I see something that I know would be like a NASCAR penalty, I'll throw a penalty for the guy. Like, for instance, like, if somebody decides to come down pit road as the pits are closed, the end of stage type of thing. But no, I'm not announcing it. I'm going to stream it, and you'll hear the cars and watch it if you want, but I'm not going to, yeah, I'm going to chill and watch. So 35 laps complete. Whitley has led them all. Carrington now a second back as Whitley starts to pull away. We got some pit stops happening here. Nick Sargent, Trevor McLaughlin, Jake Vanoski have come to pit road here at lap number 35. So we should see leaders coming here at any moment as they all blow by pit road right now. Top 6 stay out, top 7, top 8. And here comes Justin Ray to pit road, it looks like. So Ray is in, Austin Bloom on pit road. These two putting on a great battle here. And let's go up here to the battle for fourth as Miles slides past Thompson. And he'll take the 4th position away, and Thompson's going to come to pit road. So here comes the first of the leaders. The 3 of Justin Thompson on pit road. 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. And there's Casey Carrington, the 9 car coming in. Carrington looking to actually get a win this season. He has not won a race, believe it or not, in this season 8. Of course, that could be, you know what, that's another cool one I'm going to put on there. As one of my favorite moments from the series is being able to call Casey to his first series win when he got that win in Nashville on the 2-tire strategy, and ever since then he's won numerous amounts of races. So let's hope it doesn't, when he gets going next season with a new broadcaster, it doesn't go back to him not winning races anymore. That'd be kind of awkward. All right, Mark Whitley on pit road. Here comes the points leader, and we'll call him potential champion right now with 96 laps to go. Again, for those just joining us wondering what's going on with the graphics, unfortunately having some issues with SDK, as I think Steve Ritter's saying hi to me through his wheel. That's kind of weird. Going to our good buddies at Sim Racing app for helping me out with their ticker and stuff, so you're able to see who's running where in the race. So bear with me, as I might not sound smooth, as I'm just kind of calling it as I see it here in front of me. Kyle Ether on pit road, Jose Ruiz, Brad Delph, Christopher Murphy on pit road, along with Matthew Weeks. In the 11, should be 4 tires and fuel here at lap number 40. So obviously you do the math from here, it'll be a 3-stop race for everybody. As Weeks pulls away. And that should hand the lead. It's going to be close to handing the lead to James Silvers here, as he's going to come to pit road right now. And he will be the last to pit road, and it should cycle everything back around. We'll see who's running where when this thing's over with. Of course, as I mentioned, this tire wear does mean a big deal here. Tires and fuel in the Budweiser number 17 pulls away, and it looks like after the cycle pit stops, all because of one less lap, or one earlier lap, hitting on the earlier lap, Casey Carrington has jumped Mark Whitley and now takes the lead in this Miami 200. As the 9 going to cross the start finish line and get himself a bonus point. He's going to lead Mark Whitley by 2.1 seconds. Justin Thompson going to move up to the 3rd position. Matthew Weeks now back to 4th, and then Stephen Miles will be your top 5. And literally, I mean, the difference in laps here is basically what we're seeing. I mean, pit road times, 14.3s for Carrington and Whitley, a 14.1 for Thompson, a 3 for Weeks, a 13.8 for Miles, a 13.7 for Ritter. Those are probably your fastest times out of those up front right now. So a lot of great stops here, a lot of consistency, and that's what keeps this field so tight together. Let's go back here to our Rookie of the Year, Spence Thompson, as he makes a pass on Justin Ray, who gets pretty loose. Almost a little sketchy there for that 38 car. See Nick Leo back there making a pass on the 24 of Nick Sargent, and that's a pass for 11th. So as mentioned, the 77 of Whitley obviously has clinched the overall 2024 title and is pretty much right on the edge of winning the season 8 title. The only reason I'm not calling it is because I don't have really the technology to prove it in front of me. Everybody doing a pretty good job here so far in this crazy race. On board with Whitley. Looking at some of these lap times right now, 33s pretty much across the board. Weeks ran the fastest one last time by 33.79. Let's go back here to the 2 of Kyle Ethier in the MGD Dodge Charger, the Rusty Wallace throwback there. He was able to get by Trevor McLaughlin and Craig Martin just a few laps ago, and now starting to stretch away. I'm kind of curious as I'm going to watch these cars that are on the less amount of laps on tires to see how much time they can make up here. And that's part of the reason I think right now you're seeing Matthew Weeks be the fastest car on the track, is because he pitted at lap number 40. He and Kyle Ethier, Jose Ruiz, Christopher Murphy, those guys ran the car all the way out. James Silvers actually pitted at 41, but those cars should be the ones that would be the fastest on the track with the newer tires in this race. Let's check on this battle right here. Daniel Giroux and Nick Leo in the 69 car battle for 9th right here as they try to roll in on Spence Thompson in the 89 car. Leo with a good run on the Juan Pablo paint scheme. And he's going to slide on by. Something that's kind of surprised me, how much his bottom lane has worked out tonight. The catfishing going on as Drew cross him over. Yeah, I do want to take a moment and not. I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing SDK Gaming. They do a great job, have done a great job for numerous years. A lot of broadcasters use it, and I do myself. Unfortunately, people do have errors, and that's what's led us to our issue tonight. I did just check. We're about halfway through the download that's working right now for the app, so I'm not sure what's going on. I did notice trying to go to their website. Their site was running slower too, so they might be having some server issues. So, but a big shout out to those guys for all the hard work and that they do. And I mean, a majority of the broadcasters you see on iRacing use that app for their timing and scoring and stuff because it's so easy to use and it's solo person friendly. When you're a one-man show like I am, it's like the easiest thing to use. Where you get some of those big-time networks that you see here broadcasting iRacing, they got people either up in Connecticut, they've got producers or whatever sitting at home, all that technology and people, manpower right around them, where some of us have to bust our tails one-man shows and get all the stats and make sure the paints are uploaded right, make sure the streams are running correctly, the timing and scoring's working. You know, try not to make your family mad because you got that going on too, and so on and so forth. So you know, basically where I'm going with this is in the end, you viewers, you have your favorites that you like to watch. If it's myself or someone else from, you know, one of the big networks or somebody who does it by himself or with a couple people, but do us all a favor, and when you get an opportunity to, send a thank you to those guys. I know you've done it to me, that's fine, but let those people know that you appreciate them getting up on a computer and literally calling a race on iRacing or whatever you like to watch. Yeah, I'm kind of rambling, but you know what? I'm just enjoying. I'm sitting back and enjoying. As Carrington leads now, Whitley's brought it down to 9.5, or 9.5, 9/10 of a second. There he is right there, coming off turn 4, as they put a lap on the Stephen Melnick Darkwing Duck car. Matthew Weeks is 4.4 seconds back. Justin Thompson, Stephen Miles, still your top 5. Biggest mover in the race. Not really been any big movers, but I would immediately look at the Justin Ray car from 16th to 11th. As now Jake Bonoski, who by the way has a win here in All-American, in the 42, going to get past. It's the 4th time that we've had a race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. All the way back to December of 2021 when Christopher Heller won a 250-mile race here. And, of course, November of 2022, Zach Rogers getting his win. And that was actually his last win in the series up until the win he got earlier this season at Kentucky. And then Mark Whitley, of course, winning last season's race that went caution-free. And right now we're working on that again as we're coming up to halfway here in 9 laps. Will we get a 4th different winner in 4 races here? Or can Whitley, who's the only one in the race that has a win at this track in the series, can he get up here and take this lead away? Him and Carrington pretty much swapping fastest laps, and Weeks continues to be pretty fast as we've lapped up to the 20th place car, I believe. right, so while we're in this green flag run, let's have a little fun here for a second. I know he's in here somewhere. He better be in here somewhere. I am disappointed in Kyle Ethier. He said to me, Cap, why don't you come talk to me like you usually do in the green flag runs? And I go looking through Discord, and Kyle Ethier's not in Discord. How am I supposed to talk? Come on now, Kyle. But we are going to do this for a little bit. We're going to have a little fun with this, as we want you guys to be able to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of what goes on. And I've gotten permission from the owner to do it, so listen closely, because you are going to hear the audios now of the drivers as I've turned the audio on. This could get interesting if somebody gets mad at somebody, but probably going to be more calm than anything, but let's see. I believe I hit the usual unmute button, but we'll have to see as this race goes on. No, maybe not, because you can't hear Justin Thompson right now. So Carrington's lead down to 0.7 of a second. Now I'm starting to wonder if I hit another button. All right, maybe we won't. Apparently, I...
Hear you.
Hey, there we go. All right. So we're going to open up the mics and let them talk. Do what we can hear out there on the stream here. During the race, as Whitley continues to trail 0.8 of a second. Weeks back there in third still. As you ride with Carrington, the cars all pretty much spread out for the most part here. As I look over on the map, trying to see maybe where some battles are. But let's actually take you through the field here and show you where everybody is as of right now as Carrington leads. Mark Whitley there, he is in the second position. That is 0.8 of a second behind that 9 car. Matthew Weeks in the 11, running there in third. Continues to run just slowly faster laps. He's got the lead down to 2.5 seconds now. All of a sudden. Justin Thompson in the 3 car, running in the 4th position. Kicked off Season 8, won a win at Daytona earlier this year. He's got Steven Miles trailing him right now in the 5th position. There's Steve Ritter, 16 car, running in 6th after starting in the 2nd position. Great qualifying effort for that 16 tonight, doing a great job in the Leaf Guard of Vermont, number 16. As we come up on halfway next time by. As the 36 car is actually our 7th place car. Curtis White having a great run in the Outlaw Chevrolet. Our Rookie of the Year for Season 8, Spence Thompson, running in the 8th position after starting 9th. So Spence having a great run so far, and he's got Nick Leo kind of in his crosshairs behind him, trying to find his way around. But Nick up to the 9th position. And then Kyle Ethier all the way up to 10th after, I think he was about 16th or 17th or so once he come off pit road. So he's done a great job reeling in the field and making the passes. And still running some pretty good laps in that MGD number 2. 38 car Justin Ray runs in the 11th position. The Georgia driver sits 23 seconds back as we cross the line officially halfway in this 200-mile race to crown the champion. This All-American Cup Series season. 12th position, Daniel Giroux, the 92 car. Having a good run there in the Haviland 92, as mentioned. Christopher Murphy in the 21 car runs in the 13th position. Austin Bloom, the cereal car. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch car. The car you can see right there, the 45, runs in the 14th position.
Hitting in.
As he just called his way to pit road, looks like. So we're going to see Austin Bloom come to pit road here, it looks like. Craig Martin in the 15th position. Uh-oh. Austin, you're not pitting right now because Craig said he is. And Craig just missed pit road. Austin made it into pit road, so Brad Delph running in the now 17th position. Nick Sargent in the 24 car in the 18th position right now. And then Trevor McLaughlin running 19th. Austin Bloom, Jake Vanoski, and Stephen Melnick. There's Melnick there in the Darkwing car. And that is your field of 22 cars here, 65 laps to go. In this 134 lap race, when are you going to see these leaders come to pit road? Still got one more stop even after this. The tire fall off, you're looking at over 2 seconds now of pace. Well, so Kyle was hiding in. Oh, I wonder where Kyle was, huh?
Hitting in.
And I think he just called himself to pit road here, so we'll
92 coming in this time.
listen to the cars calling out their pit stalls, which is a tradition for those who don't do iRacing and wonder. It's a classy thing to do, is you're able to talk in with the other drivers and tell them, hey, I'm pitting, because technically you can't wave in a simulator to the other driver and say, hey, I'm pitting. So you have an option to hit a button and you can actually tell them, I'm coming to pit road here. As Mark Whitley comes in. The 77 in, going to try to undercut the 9, I think, potentially again. As last time by, the 9 undercut him.
This time.
With 62 laps to go. I mean, this might come to a point. I wonder if Brantley Roden's going to change the tire here. A la Jeff Gordon 1998 when his crew chief Ray Evernham decided to go down there and change a tire.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm up there right here.
Have a little fun with the pit crew as they had already won the championship at that point. Whitley leaves and a 13-7 good stop for the 77.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hall & Oates, Daryl Young. Hello, sir. Appreciate you coming in. And I appreciate the kind words. As Stephen Miles gets the lead here this race now. As more cars on pit road. Carrington is in. Matthew Weeks is in. See Justin Thompson on pit road now. I pulled the tear off. Actually, Brantley, you're that guy that was it the dude that's usually at the left front tire that has to like lean and almost fall over the wall every time to get the get the tire. That's Brantley. Miles on pit road now. Here comes Craig Martin.
Bro, that first stall sucks here.
Matthew Weeks not a fan of the first stall, as we're learning. Actually, as I think about that more and more, Brantley, you're that guy that you would lean over to grab that left front tire, and meanwhile you'd see like a piece of the wrap coming off, and you'd be over there sticking it on there again. It's like, hey, that paint's got to be perfect. Let's see, Steve Ritter on pit road. And Curtis White also in the 36 car. Do not want to get a speeding penalty, obviously, in this track. Hey, I used to race with a guy that actually did that. Not that specific job, but a guy on iRacing. I think he's still on here. Ron Schutte, as when Austin Hill was running for the Hattori Racing team a couple years ago. He and Schutte would always be on, and I was racing with them, and we'd get in some interesting conversations. So the leader now, Spence Thompson, who's yet to come to pit road. Kyle Ethier in the second position. Christopher Murphy third. And Jose Ruiz, those are the only cars not to pit yet. And now Ethier is going to take the lead as Spence Thompson comes to pit road. But Schutte is actually I believe he's an interior design for the Tricon team now. As Thompson pulls away 13.9, so a good stop there on his part. Everybody with 13-second stops pretty much up front. As Ruiz comes to pit road. Ethier staying out. I was about to cue him up on the radio to say, hey, are you going to pit sometime today, or are you just going to Kramer the car from Seinfeld where you just run it out of gas or whatever? As Ethier and Murphy come to pit road, and that should hand the lead back to Mark Whitley, who has done the undercut now to Casey Carrington, and this battle is on here for the lead. It's been very tough to pass out here on the track, and now you got the 9 and 77 fighting it out. Matthew Weeks about 2.2 seconds back, and then Justin Thompson should jump to fourth here. And Stephen Miles going to continue to be your top 5 in what has been a fantastic race here tonight. No yellows yet. What has been one of the more competitive seasons in All-American Cup Series history. Of course, you go back to about the halfway point of the season. At one point, we had, 6 people, I think, still within shouting distance. And then pretty much became 3 as we got towards the end. Season did set the record, by the way, for the most average lead changes in a season, and the lowest average margin of victory record has been set this season. So that's something to be proud of from everybody. It just shows you the competitive level, the competition, the new people that come in here. I mean, they came in the race, and it's been some great stuff all season long. Plenty of dramatic events that happen throughout the season. Not only the season, but throughout. Hey, I know that guy. Thank you, Captain.
Sorry, didn't mean to bump you there, Silver.
Did you see these guys just racing tamely, not hearing too much on the microphone?
Austin, I would have felt like a dick if I freaking wrecked you there, man.
Well, there you go. There's your adult language that you like to hear, right?
Would have been on me. I was fighting it up there. Sorry about that.
As Spence Thompson,
man, I drove
Austin
in there,
Boone.
car didn't stick, man. That wasn't you at all, buddy. I appreciate it. Use them new tires up.
See Kyle Ethier, he's a lap down right now with fresh tires, so he should be able to shoot around these guys. As Carrington peaks to the low side here, you might not even see the two. You got to be aware of that.
Bye, Spence. Bye.
Alright, now do the same shit to him. Well, I was planning on it.
Casey has no clue. Oh, he's gonna door Whitley, huh? That's not what Casey said. As Carrington goes for the lead now.
Kyle, if you're listening, I have been waiting for a long time.
What are you waiting for?
I heard you wanted me in the booth, sir.
Well, that was a little bit ago, but then, you know, you had pit stops and all these different things, and now you're sitting there trying to wreck the leader. I mean, what are you doing?
Let's just have a sign that says "Door me" on my left side.
Well, Mark, that's for Darlington. I don't
You guys
forget.
got
See,
door?
we got elephant, whatever
teach me
they
one,
say. I don't
so.
know. Whatever they
Now,
be
what side of
saying.
the door
But
is it?
our brains,
How to do
we
it
don't
off this
forget.
statue.
Oh, man, they're having fun here. I might have to turn the mic off here in a second, but how's the car? Why is somebody running the bottom? I'm surprised by that.
Well, the top burns the tires up really
Well,
bad.
Make the lapper hit you harder.
And that was for Darlington. But anyway,
I don't even remember what Darlington was.
congrats on the shit. Anyway, the bottom seems to be the best handling line. I think maybe the line above it. I think I saw Weeks running it, maybe Miles a little bit, like right where the seam is.
Mm-hmm.
But the car is so loose that to run the top effectively, you almost have to let it get tight early in the run, I think. Like overdrive it purposely.
Right.
Which is kind of what I did on the first run, and it failed. If you notice, I was pretty deep.
I did.
But over the last couple runs, I've been working my way back up on the long runs, just running the bottom. The first run, I was experimenting, and it didn't work. So I've just I'm sure every time you've looked at me, I've been hooked on that white line. That
Well,
seems to be the way to go.
Well, keep it down there on that white line. Don't drift up a lane. But no, man, nice job so far, and we'll let you go past. Don't hit the serial car.
Oh no, we're good. We only like to hit the lead lap cars around here.
Oh, that's not. Oh boy.
That's the only way I'll have a chance, I guess.
All right, but
You know, I thought after practice we'd be competitive, but we weren't.
hey, keep at it. You still have a shot here. 45 to go. You still got one more stop.
I know. We just really need the caution now that I'm back on the lead lap here.
I'm not gonna
But-
say anything here. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I mean, it seems whenever I'm in here with you, we always seem to get one, but not today. Not today. Where's Chris Lewis?
I'm leaving now. Have a good one. I could see where that's going to go in the end. Well, Casey Carrington got to the lead, and that's actually a true story, by the way, what Kyle just said. Carrington to the lead, obviously got past Whitley, a little contact there. Whitley, a little tail whip there at the second position. He's got Matthew Weeks coming up there behind him. And what is going to be a battle potentially for second. So you wonder how much Whitley's car, maybe he's hurt. I don't see any damage on that left side, so it shouldn't have been that hard of a contact. But there you go. We got a little bit of hot mic action there in this race. Appreciate everybody keeping it rather clean. But Carrington, Whitley, Weeks, Thompson, Miles, your top five as it's been throughout the race. Appreciate all the viewers hanging out here this evening, having a fun night. And it's one thing that Carrington and I talked about before the race. He's like, hey, go have a good time. And that's what we're all about here, is having fun with friends and stuff like that. And turned out, we actually did the count. 70 races in the end was broadcasted on the Captain eSports Network here for the All-American Cup Series. That's out of 100 and look up the number. And all you got to do is, if you ever wonder how many starts this series has had, just look up how many starts Casey Carrington has in this league. It says league. 109. This will be the 110th race, so all but 40 races. We're here on the Captain eSports Network. As we watch Weeks put the pressure on Whitley now. going to put to you like this, that download's not going to finish before this race. That's kind of crazy to think about. Weeks battling hard. The 11 gets around him for position. Whitley going to fight back. As James Silver's on pit road, and not sure if he's going behind the wall or not here. So Whitley a long pit road stay right now. I'm sure Brantley's on the radio to Mark right now, being like, dude, just chill. Everything's good. You got 4 seconds back to the 3 car. Thank you, Mr. Spanky Jr. Appreciate it. Techno Wizard, all the kind words there. I appreciate everybody. It's never been about me when it comes to these broadcasts. It's about the drivers. It's about the fans. It's about the one car of Stephen Miles being on pit road. And I don't think the car is supposed to drive like that. As he is on pit road, I don't see damage to it. So what happened here? Unless I just haven't noticed that there's a little bit of a dog track to the car. Four tires and fuel, and Miles pulls. Maybe it's just the angle of the car. I thought for a second he was winding a little, sidewinder a little bit there, but he's out rolling, and he looks like he's okay, so never mind. I'm seeing things now. And Miles rolls away. 4 tires and fuel, and that's with 38 laps to go, so he's right there in the window. And he's going to try to pull a big undercut here. And get as far away as he can. And here comes Casey Carrington to pit road in the 9 car. With 37 laps to go. Let's see if Whitley comes in now, or does he wait a lap or 2 here? And what about Matthew Weeks? What does he do? As Carrington pulls away. As Justin Thompson has come to pit road now. Weeks and Whitley staying out right now as no one else really on pit road at the moment here. But going back to what I said before the pit stop started happening, it's always been about the drivers and about the viewers. I always try to... It's a hard balance because you want to, when you're streaming, you want to call the race and be as professional as possible, but you want to, at the same time, you want to listen and kind of watch what the viewers are looking at. Because if they see something, or if they're looking for something, or want to hear something or whatever, I want to be able to get them what they want. But at the same time, I got to make sure I don't do something that's completely ridiculous and so on and so forth. But it's always been about the viewers and about the racers for me. This is something I did for the years I came back on the iRacing back in 2020 and got this going full-time wise, and just always said, you know what, I don't need to be here. I don't, I want to be here because it's fun. But I didn't need this, and I know viewers like watching this, and I know drivers like it. So it was a matter of just getting on here and doing what I love to do, which is call sporting events, in this case iRacing, and have fun with it. That's Curtis White on pit road. Matthew Weeks now on pit road in the 11 car. And to be honest, I know behind the scenes I've ruffled feathers with my racing side of things, and there's some people that I've become friends with behind the scenes, and there's people that probably don't like me. But that's an unfortunate part of life, and I hate that it's come to that on the bad side. But I did everything I could. So Weeks leaves the pits, and the question now is this guy, Mark Whitley, when does he come in? As he has 32 laps to go. And I think he's got to come in here in the next lap or two, or else he's going to probably end up having to run the car out of fuel and have max tires to work with. As right now it's he, Nick Leo, Spence Thompson, Kyle Ethier, Justin Ray, Christopher Murphy, Craig Martin, and Jake Vanoski, the cars that still are yet to pit. As look at those tires. Brad Delphin piling in here. Look at Thompson. Yikes. And Weeks goes topside. He's going to pass Whitley there and unlap himself. And Whitley's just trying to be patient here. He knows that cars are going to be going around him really quickly, almost 2 seconds faster a lap right now. Casey Carrington actually going to be the second place car when this thing's all over with now, as Leo's come to pit road, giving up that second position. Murphy going to be third, and Ray right now fourth, with Thompson fifth. As Miles comes off turn 4, makes the pass on Whitley again. Shout out to Sim Racing Hub, Sim Racing Apps for the hard work that they put in. It's an app that I've used for years to help me with especially fuel mileage per se. This is the app I've always used when it comes to fuel mileage for myself. I've always been comfortable with it, and they've done a great job with that, and they've always been here to bail me out when I have telemetry issues and stuff like tonight. And hopefully we'll get that fixed before Monday's race. As Whitley, here he comes to pit road with 27 laps to go. Looking to be the first 3-time champion in series history. Of course, he's already locked up his second straight all-season title with winning the 2024 season championship. There'll be 4 tires and fuel here, and then it will become Release the Hounds, as Whitley will try to chase down these other drivers, and we'll see first off what kind of deficit he's going to have. Carrington is over in turn 4 right now, so he's going to be at least a half a track back. So it's Casey Carrington leading now by 9.3 seconds over Matthew Weeks. He's got 10 seconds back to Justin Thompson. Stephen Miles, 14 back. And Christopher Murphy in the 5th position. So it looks like 19 seconds going to be the gap, as Whitley's already passed Ruiz right there. That is for the 6th position. And he's about 4 seconds back from the 21 of Christopher Murphy, which will be the next spot in line. As there's Carrington, 8.1 seconds right now on Matthew Weeks. But let's take a moment here. I want to talk about Stephen Miles, who this season has been a breakout season. As you go back to earlier's one of the, I think it was the second race of the season at Chicagoland, where Miles went to victory lane for the first time, then followed it up with a fuel mileage race win at Michigan, which was an incredible call and an incredible strategy by Steven into one car. And then, of course, he got that third, and unless something interesting happens here, will end up being the final win of the season. When Miles went to victory lane in Talladega Super Speedway. But one season that Miles, obviously he's one that wants to win, as everybody does. But Miles puts a lot of work into it, a lot of work into his racecraft, and has had a great job at a breakout season for him. And he's still got a shot here, still plenty of racing to go, 20 laps, doesn't seem like a lot, but anything can happen. And I do appreciate all the viewers hanging out tonight. Hopefully you've had fun in the broadcast and had fun in the stream. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Jose Ruiz on pit road in a 23 car. Should mention, I believe the 22 of Craig Martin has gone off the track now, so we're down to 20 cars officially in this race. As Whitley has just passed Stephen Miles for the 4th position, as he continues his quest to try to get back to the 9 car, as it is down to 15 seconds now officially. With 18 laps to go. Right now, looking at the lap times, he's about 0.6 of a second faster than anybody on the track is Whitley. So it might be more of a question of when here in just a few moments. So I've been kind of randomly talking a little bit about the top 4 moments here on the Captain eSports Network. Of course, the first one I brought up was the Leslie Law move at Daytona to win his first career race. The second one, I would say, is Carrington winning in his home league finally after like 3 seasons. That was a pretty cool one. Let's see. I had to pick a third one. I gotta think about this one a little bit. There's a lot of good ones. You know what my third favorite moment is, as I think about this? All the different winners. I know there was the season a couple seasons ago where Whitley dominated. There was, you know, other seasons though, and even times during the year where like we didn't know who would win what races when. You know, you could immediately assume that like a Weeks or a Carrington or a Whitley or a Miles would go to victory lane, and then all of a sudden, you know, you'd get a new winner if it was a, you know, a Zach Rogers or a Finley Fitzsimmons. There, I'm bringing Finzo into this. His win at Texas. You know, think of that one. I think of, you know, McWhorter getting a couple wins. I think of Mike Husby getting a win at Talladega. I think of, how about when Alex Penn got the road course win in Husby's car? There were so many cool moments. So there's number 3 for you. How about that? All the new winners we've had. Laps to go. Whitley's got it under 10 seconds now, as you see Thompson on the track as he tries to get around Brad Delph, and you see there's the jaw steam playing right now. And my fourth and favorite moment, you know what, would be talking to all the drivers after the race. Always thought it's cool that after the race, you know, we all kind of go meet up in somebody's channel and just talk and have a good old time on a Friday night or whatever. At that time, of course, Thursday this season. So I would say there's my 4 favorite moments. You know, I'm going to add a bonus 5th moment. Those last second passes. I just thought about here's Whitley getting a good crossover move on Delph and maybe Thompson here. But it was a race a couple weeks ago that Whitley won. That was, everybody took each other out pretty much at the Richmond race. Everybody took each other out in turn 4. And then there was the Wild Pocono race back a few seasons ago that I'm sure Casey's going to be like, you had to bring that up, didn't you? 10 laps to go. Thompson trying to hold off Whitley, who was flying through this field. Thompson actually getting a little loose, leaving him the room on the outside lane. So move the 77 up to 3rd. 8.2 seconds back. Can he get to the front? Matthew Weeks 4.7 seconds back. For those wondering what's going on next season, just to kind of give you an update on that in the future, they're going to wait now. Carrington's going to sit back and kind of wait to see when the new Gen 4 car is coming. Of course, in the 2003 car is being worked on. It was actually delayed a little bit, so instead of starting Season 9, Casey has decided let's wait for the 03 car to come out and then start it. So you'll likely, I mean, unless something gets announced real quickly and you see it in February, it will likely be a later start for 2025 for the All-American Cup Series, which, to be honest, Casey could use a nice little vacation. He's worked hard. 6 laps to go. And for Mark Whitley, 5 more laps before he goes in the record book, just like he did in that Richmond race 2 weeks ago, becoming the winningest driver in the All-American Cup Series history. And then tonight, unless something just very wonky happens in the next 5 laps, will become the first 3-time champion in this series history. Of course, Whitley came in September of 2022. And of course, that was the first season here for the captain. Shows up as in a fill-in role at Watkins Glen, wins that race. I remember that race in particular. Then a week later, shows up at Charlotte, finishes second. Goes out and wins his next 2 starts, and then shows up in February for season 5. 26th at Daytona, 27th in Auto Club, and then 11th at Vegas, 2nd, 32nd, 6th, and then finally goes to victory lane in March at Charlotte, and from there it pretty much took off as he has racked up numerous amounts of wins, including, of course, that historic season in season number 6. Carrington going to bring it out of turn number 4. Oh my gosh. A caution has come out. What in the world? A caution. I'm looking on odds for Daniel Giroux. The 92 car has spun on the backstretch. You ever had that one moment where you wish that somebody had forgotten to put the green-white checkers on? This is that one moment. All right, let's see if I can figure this out without having to go do the old school replay here. What happened to Daniel Giroux? Let's find out. Did I just see 2 accidents right there? Oh, there's Giroux spinning out right here. So let's... He got heavy damage on that left rear. And the leaders are on pit road here. Let's actually... Where's my live button at? Oh, he got hooked by Delve. And then hit by the... He got clobbered, and I saw something. Yeah, these two are... Okay, never mind. Vanoski had something wrong here. It wasn't anything. All right, let's show you the pit stops here real quickly so you can see how it all transpired. I didn't want to spoil that for you. Even though the ticker on the left will kind of tell you how that all went down. But it looks like everybody, 4 tires and fuel from what I'm seeing here. No strategy calls here. As Carrington will win the race off pit road, Matthew Weeks, Mark Whitley, Justin Thompson, your top 4. I would have thought there would be a live button here somewhere, but there's not. So basically, in Whitley's situation right now, just to cover his end here to make sure nothing, again, weird happens, I think for him, just get to the white flag because there's enough cars a lap down to where the worst he'd finish would be around 15th. But the main thing he can do, just don't wreck. Just get the best finish you can here and bring it home. As it's going to come down to Carrington and Weeks. Yeah, a lot of cars taking a wave around here. Let's hope for a solid finish here as everybody comes off of turn number 4 here. In this All-American Cup Series, again, thank you to all the premier partners this season, from Leaf Guard of Vermont to Sim Racer Hub to the Kakamura HR Management. And there goes, oh no! Willie is spun, nobody's hit him, and the caution comes out. Thompson dragging the left front. He's got heavy damage. And Stephen Miles got damage in this too. So both the top 2 in points. Miles got heavy right side damage. Actually, you could say Miles actually ended up worse in this than Whitley did. Other than position-wise. All right, let's see. Thompson gets in the back of Whitley as they restart, and he just spins the tires. So a tough break for everybody involved there. And that's our first green-white checker. Now we're going to come to our second one. And this will be it after this. So Thompson's on pit road. Nobody else on pit road, it looks like. Other than, see, Giroux and Vanoski already had damage on their car. It's unfortunate events here happening at the last part of this race. So as we line up here, it's going to be Carrington Weeks. Curtis White is up to third. Stephen Miles now lining up in fourth. And Nick Leo in fifth. So actually Miles ends up better here than I thought he would be. You wonder how much damage he has. I look at Mark Whitley, he's in eighth. So Mark should be okay here as long as something like that don't happen again. Here in the 77 is putting out reports of rain on the track. Just kidding, obviously. It's raining everywhere, boys. All right, one to go this time. Carrington going to bring him to the green. Yes, here we go, the final restart of the season. Carrington gets to launch. Weeks spins the tires a little bit. Oh my gosh. Ethier gets into Whitley. And we stay green. Miles up to third. I have never seen this before. As the white flag waves, final lap. Whitley will likely finish 15th, it looks like. As Miles going to lose third to Curtis White. As he falls back a little bit, but Casey Carrington went all season long without a win, and he's going to bring it home at Homestead to win the finale. Checkered flag for the 9. And Mark Whitley, after having a great run and leading the most laps, you could argue tonight, I believe he had one of the most laps led, unofficially should be the 3-time champion here. After everything that could go wrong in the last 5 laps did. As Mark Whitley becomes a 3-time All-American Cup Series champion. As Carrington lets him have the straightaway there to celebrate this championship. As Matthew Weeks will finish second, Curtis White third, Nick Leo fourth, and Stephen Miles fifth. Again, thank you viewers for hanging out and watching tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed the race there. A little dramatic there at the end, must say. But, you know, with the couple issues I even had at the end of this, or during the race here, we made it through the end. And I know there's going to be some probably unhappy drivers here at the end. As I'll leave the timing and scoring up over there on the left so you can see the finishing order. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it, man. Much appreciated. As be a little photo op there for Whitley and Carrington. All right, let's talk to our top 3 finishers here. I'm not even sure if Curtis is in chat here. Yep, there's Curtis, just popped in up here. So let's get the driver of the 36 car up here to join us here this evening. Curtis, man, congratulations on a great third place finish. Great battle out there. You ran top 10 most of the night there and show you had the speed. And then some wonkiness happened there at the end and got you to top 3.
I appreciate it, Chris, man. I tell you, it feels nice to have luck go on my side for once. I have every race, it feels like I've been on the wrong end of it. Whether it was in this league or in Clinton's league on Tuesdays, just a lot of stuff, no matter what, it would go wrong. I was about to throw a tantrum in chat because I was happy just to be in 6th. I was running P7 all race. I got around Steve Ritter for 6th. I'm like, okay, let's just get this over with. I'll be popping the champagne just to be in 6th. Then the caution came out. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, bro? And then typical Homestead, you know how Homestead is.
Yep.
It's so easy to spin the tires, especially with the Gen 4 car. And I guess Thompson spun him right in front of me and cleaned out Whitley and I think a bunch of other cars. I was lucky enough to get through it. And I'm like, oh crap. Now I'm worried about having enough fuel to make it. Because I didn't know we were going to have more than one green-white checkered attempt, and I only had enough fuel just for the 2 that we ran. So I was really hoping that we would keep it green that last stint. Once that last restart didn't really go well. I nearly spun the tires, but I also kind of stalled it in second. So I had to battle Steven Miles for that last podium spot, and I was able to. Surprisingly, I was able to hold him off. I thought he was going to get around me on the outside for sure, but I kind of charged it into turn 1. We were even into 3, and I was able to get back around. I think either turn 3 or turn 1. I don't remember. I was able to clear him, and yeah, I was happy to just have a front row seat to the battle between Casey and Matthew for the win. I knew I wasn't going to be up there with those two. I was more than thrilled to be third place. This is a win for me, so I'll take it. That was a lot of fun.
No, and that's all that matters, man. You had a good time here tonight, put on a good run, and great battles throughout the race. Obviously, the long run there, I know, made it very tricky because, obviously pit strategy coming into play. What lap you pretty much would come in, and then obviously trying to fight to hold on where you are, if not try to catch somebody, and just a whole lot of stuff everywhere tonight.
For sure, and I don't know how this race was going to play out because I qualified 4th, and I didn't really have the start that I wanted because I kind of stepped on my toe a little bit, and I slid back to about 7th. And for the race, I was pretty much in a battle with Steve Ritter, and I knew I was faster than him. It was just a matter of getting to him. That second pit stop, I slid past my pit box, which pretty much I thought it took me out of it. I thought it was going to be, that was it, P7 for me. But somehow that last pit stop, I was able to catch him, and that's all I really wanted, just to get back around him and get P6. Yeah, I love Homestead. It's such a fun track to drive. I kind of came in a little bit cold turkey because I didn't really put in much practice for this race, so I was kind of surprised that I was able to qualify as close to the front as I did. So, again, I'll gladly take it. I'm glad that I was able to run the races that I ran. Casey's put together a really good league, and whatever the future may hold, whenever the new Gen 4 car comes out, it might come out it might come out after GTA 6 comes out, for all I know. But you know how long it took the rain update to finally come? I feel like it's going to be the same situation here.
Yes.
So, who knows?
Let's hope that's not the case for your guys' sake. Well, great job tonight, and send some shouts whoever you like to.
Shout out to my team, RPM, Sheldon Atkins, Thomas Stokes. Neither one of them were able to make it tonight, so I was pretty much the flag bearer for the whole team, and I was able to get us our, I believe, is our best finish in this league. I don't know. Shout out to you for putting it out to the broadcast. I know this is you're wrapping it up here. Whatever comes forward for you, I wish you the best of luck, and appreciate you putting together broadcasts for this league. I've been able to watch them back there, really well put together. So shout out to you for that, and also shout out to Casey if I haven't already.
Absolutely, man. Great job tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You too. That is Curtis White in the 36 car, finishing in the 3rd position here tonight. We'll talk to our runner-up finish, as wouldn't be a full night of racing if Craig Martin went out there destroying cars after the race. As Matthew Weeks finishes in the 2nd position here tonight. Matthew, just a little short, just like last season, unfortunately. But this time, at least, you didn't finish 2nd to the champion. So I guess there's a little bit less of a pain here, but still finish 2nd.
It's not a pain, man. I get to come up here and talk to you one last time. It's like I tell y'all every time I've been up here, man. You're the best broadcaster. You do it by yourself and you do it all, and I enjoy what you do. So I wanted to get here, no matter if I finished 3rd, 2nd, or won the race. I just wanted to get up here and talk to you, man.
I appreciate that, but obviously a great race there, and obviously got a little dramatic there at the end. But definitely showed you and Carrington and Whitley looked like the fastest 3 cars. I know for a little bit in that middle run, I was watching you just continue to knock a little bit of time off each and every lap, it seemed like.
Yeah, that first run, I was committed to running the very bottom, and I noticed I burnt my right front up. So that second run, I moved up to the middle, right above the seam, and I just felt way comfortable, and I just got in a rhythm, and I was in a Discord with a lot of people, so I deafened my Discord, and I just locked in, and we were doing good there, and I felt really good. I thought that once I caught him after that, when we pit that first pit, because Casey, or I forget who pitted first, they had a big gap, and then I caught him, and I figured as long as I pit with Casey right there, I would be good. And I drove it in there hard, got him, but I wish I didn't qualify on the pole here because I forgot how bad the first stall sucks here.
I did overhear you say that. We actually had chat going for a little bit. I'm like, yep, I guess Weeks don't like the first pit stall. But nonetheless, man, you did a great job tonight.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'm wore out, man. This Gen 4 driving here, and when how much you really got to drive it, man, it makes you sweat. And how much throttle control, it drains you, and I think that's why I enjoy this car so much.
Well, great job tonight, and send some shouts over like too.
Shout out to you, man. It's gonna be sad seeing you go. I enjoy your broadcast. I enjoy talking to you. Like I've told you, I even watch your other stuff when I'm bored. I got nothing else to watch. I watch your stuff, and you do a good job. Hope your future endeavors go good, man. Hope everything works out, and hope to chit chat with you here and there. You stay on I hope you stay on Twitter because I always post my race stuff on there most of the time. And shout out Casey. I know that late race caution kind of got him mad, but he runs a great league, and this is, like I say all the time, it's probably my favorite league just to come and have a chill night and have a good night racing. And shout out to him for winning the race. He was quick. I know he said I was faster than him on the long run, but I don't think I was. I think Casey was probably the car to beat tonight. I was only good at the last run because I had the fresher, little like 5 or 6 lap fresher tires. Shout out to Mark for another championship. I wish I ran the full season because I felt like I could have contend for it. And all the fans, everyone that watched on your stream, man, I hope y'all enjoyed our races. We've had some pretty badass races in here, and it's been fun. All the sponsors, everyone that's part of the league, and JD Designs, one more time, my buddy John Cullip, hit him up on Twitter, man. He'll paint you some amazing schemes. And my other buddy, Justin Vandermeer at JV Designs. Those two guys are probably, I know Brentley paints too. Shout out to him too. I know those 3 guys, I know his stuff is good. Those 3 guys are probably the best on the sim that make the paint scheme. So hit them up, get you a nice scheme, look good on the track. Yeah, man.
Well, great job, man. Congratulations on the second place run, and hey, in the end, you actually had the most wins too of everybody this season. So there you go.
Thank you. And one more shout out too. I forgot about this. Steven Miles. This was a secret thing that we really didn't announce, but he brought me on the team this season. And we didn't talk much, but I enjoyed Steven. He had a good championship run until I think last week he got caught in that mess. I didn't really keep up with the points all that much, but shout out to Laser Racing. Thanks for bringing me aboard. Hopefully, I'm gonna talk to him and stick with him next season. He's a good teammate to have, and he's a hell of a driver. And I'm gonna try to push him to come join me over here in Elite with a big, with some big races. He's a good guy, and I enjoy racing him.
There you go, man. Well, great job tonight, and yeah, he's definitely one to work with. So great job on your end, buddy.
Thank you, man. You have a good one, Chris.
You too, bud. Be safe. Matthew
You
Weeks
too.
finishing in the second position here tonight. And congratulations again on a great run, and ended up being the with the most wins this season. So obviously great job on his part, and we'll move him and get everything to cooperate with me here. There we go. Got that out of the way. All right, so Casey wants me to talk. All right, well, let's talk to the champion first. I think I know why, obviously, but let's get him in here, as he is the 3-time champion now of the All-American Cup Series season. And Mark, we're just going to go ahead and not talk about the last 3 laps or 4 laps. We're just going to leave that part out, and let's talk about, obviously, the fact that you are a 3-time champion now in the All-American Cup Series.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. The last 5
Nope.
laps just kind of all like a blur. I don't know what happened there, but like I told you right before the race, I was doing some math crunching, and I'm like, oh, if I lead a lap, then that should be good. So I felt like that on that start, I went for it to try to get that lap led early. And last season we were really good out here. We were able to stay out front a lot. So I was trying to just do the same thing. Figured the safest place to be was out front. So it worked for that entire first run. And I think I was just I was being too cautious getting on pit road because I did not want to speeding penalty. I didn't want to miss the pit road. I didn't want to I just didn't want to make a mistake. So I was super easy getting on pit road that first time. And Casey was able to jump us in the pit cycle, and I was kind of slowly walking like closing in on him, but we got into some lap traffic and my car got a little sideways, and I think it heated the tires up, and I could never really get back to him. And from then on, it was just kind of like a cat and mouse game between me, Casey, and Matthew. And last run there, Casey pitted as soon as you could make it to the end, he pitted. I thought that was kind of a crazy idea, but So I was like, I'm going to run a little bit long for it. And then Matthew pitted a few laps later, and I'm just like, I don't want to like get accidentally caught a lap down by pitting early and the caution come out, and so I just decided that I was going to run it, not all the way out, but I was going to run it pretty far just to, in case the caution came out, that we would not be trapped a lap down. And, we were almost, when we came out, we were almost like 3/4 of a lap down to Casey because he had those fresh tires for so much longer. But we were just running qualifying laps the whole last run, and I was, pretty much going to be stuck in third there because I couldn't really catch Matthew with the laps left, and we were coming to the white flag, and I'm like, oh, we should be good. And all of a sudden you see the yellow pop up, and it's like, well, that changes everything. And I was really looking forward to try to battle with them too. I guess must have left the Golden Horseshoe before the Golden Horseshoe fell out, under the regulation, and overtime it just was sitting on the track or something. So I got, that first green white, I don't know, I think the 3 spun his tires and turned us, and thankfully I think he got into the 1-2, so it wasn't like, well, I think at that point it didn't really matter, but it was still kind of frustrating. And then I was like, all right, we didn't really lose that many spots on the second green white checker, and I thought, well, maybe if I, we're up the top here, I could maybe get back up to third, or get a good finish, and didn't even make it to the start finish line again. Just wrong place, wrong time. I mean, I told my spotter, I told Brantley, I'm like, I'm really happy and like I'm ecstatic for the championship, but I'm kind of miffed with the end of that race because I ran so good and we got just 2 shit things happen at the end, and it's kind of one of those things like you should be happy about the championship, but I'm such a competitor, I can't. Like That's just kind of irritates me that we were going to have a podium finish and maybe have a chance to run for the win, and we wound up 15th because of just wrong place, wrong time. I mean, it's one of those things that happens in racing. Good thing it happened now when it didn't matter than, a couple weeks ago when we were tight with Steven in the points. So, I'm just grateful, I guess. If anything, I'll just be grateful that it happened this week when it didn't really matter too much.
There you go. Well, it's still a 21-point lead, so plenty of room there, even with the 15th place finish. And obviously a lot of bigs happen this year for you, of course, becoming the all-time winning driver here in the series, and now to become the first 3-time champion, let alone obviously going back to season 6 where you absolutely just mopped the field in wins and stuff that year, that season. Obviously it has been in a very short time you have racked up a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, it's a great league. I know that one season in particular was a really, really good year for us. Good season. Last season was pretty good. This one, I felt like we were had a couple of them that got away. We didn't we were still fast. We didn't have the outright speed we had a couple seasons ago. I don't know if that's just because iRacing's changed some of the stuff with this car, with the modeling or the handling, or if it was just, I just had that one really good season, and we're just kind of coming back down to earth now. But it's great to be in here. Be a 3-time champ. I mean, that's a great honor. All these guys in here, there's probably over half a dozen, closer to 10, 12 guys that could probably win on any given week. So it's fun to be in here. Great competitions, especially Matthew, Steven, Casey, Nick Leo's been running pretty good. Like I said, Steven, this was like a breakout year for him. So he's going to be one to watch, I think, next season whenever we get back going. Hopefully everything works out and we can be in those new Gen 4 cars that they've been working on, see how those are. I love this league. It's become probably my favorite league of the whole week. I look forward to this night of the week every time we have a race. It's going to kind of be sad that we're not going to have another one till March, but hopefully everything works out and we can come back out here and racing, because this is one of the most fun leagues I've been in, and I appreciate everything Casey does. It's an awesome job he does, and a lot of other leagues could definitely take notes on how he runs things around here.
Turn my mic on. Well, great job. Send some, the floor is yours. Send some shouts over you like to, and enjoy it here.
A big shout out to Brantley, Harpoon Design, the awesome spotting job he always does in these paint jobs. He just looks amazing. This one that we're running now, it's actually kind of a funny story behind it. I got a new golf bag, and I really liked how the golf bag looked, so I asked him could he make a race car based on the golf bag, and this is what he came up with, and I loved it so much I got him to put it on pretty much all my race cars. This one, Next Gen, trucks, Xfinity, everything I run, he put it on because it looks so good to me. So check him out at harpoondesign.com. My teammates Joe and John, They didn't get to run much this season, but always appreciate having them in our corner. You for putting on a great broadcast. I know this is the last time going to be on your broadcast. It's a sad day, but glad I was able to get to talk to you and celebrate here at the end. I've been one of my favorite broadcasters for a long time, and look forward to any future endeavors you have.
No, I appreciate those kind words, and obviously, well done on your job, on your end. Obviously, you're a great champion, and you've done a lot of good in this series. And I'm sure I'll be checking back at times, seeing how everybody's doing and stuff. So, looking forward to seeing more dubs and more championships potentially going your way.
Hopefully, that's lucky number 13. So I guess hopefully we can keep it rolling, and that doesn't get unlucky for us.
There you go, man. Well, hey, great job tonight. Congratulations.
Sounds good, man.
Absolutely. Mark Whitley, officially your Season 8 champion, the 2024 champion for overall in the All-American Championship. I didn't even get to say anything about that, but obviously congratulations on that end. And he swept it all again for a second straight year, so nice job. And obviously we say congrats to him and his whole team on a great effort this season. And I'm sure his guys will be back here next season when that time comes. But obviously he's up there talking with our winner of the race here. And I don't know, there might not be a more fitting winner of this race here this evening, as we talked about one of the top moments that I had the pleasure of doing in the seasons was announcing that first win at Nashville on the 2-tire strategy. And here tonight, Casey Carrington goes out there and wins his final race of the season and keeps that Kyle Busch streak going, now up to 4 seasons in a row. But great job on that, and obviously a well-earned win tonight.
Yeah, man. I feel like you might have bookended my wins in this week, because I don't know how the hell I'm going to beat those guys next year. Yeah, we got lucky tonight, and man, yeah, like you said, what a way to go out. Last time running the Evernham 9 meant a lot to me. I was able to right kind of the wrong of history with this is the 2003 scheme, so I know you remember what happened in 2003 at Homestead.
Yeah, right rear's not on fire.
Yeah, well, hell, it might as well have been when that caution came out. I hope you didn't have the driver radio.
No, thankfully I didn't.
Yeah, if you've ever heard me cuss somebody in Discord, that's about how it was on the radio. But yeah, man. I mean, we just didn't think I was gonna have much pace tonight. I mean, Whitley's so good here. Matthew's so good everywhere. I mean, Whitley is too, but I've always ran well here, but never, race-winning pace and real slick. And just started the race. I guess I was real fast because it seemed like him and those two were going slow, and I'm like, man, eventually my tires are going to fall off. And finally they did. The dirty air was so bad tonight. Once I got behind Whitley on that first run, I just could not put the power down. I felt like I was on dirt. And, yeah, did the undercut kind of out of desperation. I mean, I was falling off hard there. I mean, I was nearly wrecking. And did the undercut, picked up like 4 seconds. More importantly, got clean air and just kind of walked away. And he did the undercut on me there in the middle and got the lead back, and I was so mad. And then that damn rusty car made his way through the field and kind of moved us out of the way and shook it up. And
that was when the audio was on.
yeah, I got you were interviewing him or something, because it's bad enough he drives the way he does, but then he's changing Discord channels under a green flag run. I don't know about that, but might have to implement a rule there next year. But what are you saying?
In fairness, I waited till after he doored Mark to bring him up.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't during that part, but no,
okay.
we picked up your audio though of the little conversations there. That was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he chopped my nose the first time, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to force my way by you if I get it. It's like you got to take the opportunity you get, and so he's not gonna hand it to me. And then, of course, I wasn't trying to go in and clean him out. I mean, knowing my luck, I would have wrecked myself, and he would have gotten away scot-free. So, but I just dove it in there. I wasn't gonna back out of it that time, and we got together, and I'd hoped that wasn't the deciding factor in the race, but I mean, hell, I got the hell knocked out of me enough earlier in the season. I felt like I was kind of, yeah, I don't know, but I'd prefer to forget that lap. Yeah, and then just kind of pulled away. I was really wanting to go maximize the undercut and get the big gap on Mark and Matthew, mainly making sure that they didn't undercut me and get the lead away from me again. And pitted as soon as the pit window opened, and came out about 10 seconds ahead of Matthew. And I'm doing the math. I'm like, man, he's always got to be 0.2 of a second faster, and he can catch me in 20 laps. And thankfully, I guess he said he had to deal with some traffic and burn his stuff up, and it kind of equalized the tires. And was about, I mean, I could probably, even though I'm out of shape, I could probably sprint from where I was to the start-finish line when the caution came out, but that I thought it was all over. I mean, way too many times that kind of stuff's happened to me, and yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to pit. Nearly wrecked when I went into the pits, and yeah, it thankfully came out first. Apparently, the first stall was really bad, Matthew said. He might have said that in his interview, but he had trouble getting out of the pit stall and didn't have enough Coca-Cola down, I guess, or Mountain Dew in his case. Maybe. Yeah, I was going to say Mountain Dew may not be as sticky, but walked away from it. I know, shout out to, I guess he shouldn't get a shout out for the caution, but Justin was racing wounded tonight. He's like gravely sick. I mean, he had like 102-degree fever, so I think it was all he could do. I think, yeah, he was in one of those late stage Casey Kane type races there, and that's probably part of what happened on the restart. But yeah, I won the race, and then did a burnout, and thought I was gonna be able to pull right alongside Whitley, and endured him for a second time after the checkered. So
match up the doors.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be perfect, and then I knocked the hell out of him. So.
Obviously, a third place finish in points, and I know once again coming up a little short, but a tough season. Obviously, as one of the first ones you had to kind of roll by yourself with. I mean, I know you had a little bit of help behind the scenes, but to put all the hard work together in one of the more competitive seasons you've had. We talked about the lead changes earlier, talked about the competitiveness, and I know all around you're probably drained at this point.
Yeah, I never would have thought 2 years ago, or even probably at the beginning of this year, I could keep the league afloat, running it by myself. But and that's a credit to the drivers. I mean, I went on a bit of a soliloquy about it during the State of the Series thing I posted before the race, but so much of it is just the attitude and the drivers. That's what Matthew and I were talking about. Is he goes and races in his other leagues, and he can't drive people the way he does here because other leagues, you pull over and let people go, you don't get it back. Mm-hmm. And there's just so much respect and so much courtesy given, and I'd like to think it's from the top down, but then I have Discord or radio moments like I did there when that first caution came out, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm not setting the right example. But no, I mean, the guys are who make the league. I mean, hell, I'd be out here racing AI if it weren't for those guys. So they make the league what it is. You do such a great job. I mean, you've drawn so many drivers and viewers even to the league over the years. Yeah, I mean, I just, I'd like to think that there's better leagues out there, but sadly, there probably really isn't, especially ones that are free and, like you said, ran pretty much solely by one person. But, yeah, I think it's the best season we've ever had from top to bottom. I wish the points battle would have been a bit closer, but, if it weren't for these damn late cautions every race, and it probably would have been. I know Whitley's made a comment about the golden horseshoe. I guess I removed it from him and took possession of it there at the end, but, yeah, I mean, just such a great season, such a drama-free season, great racing. Even tonight, I mean, it wasn't the close side-by-side racing that you'd like to see, and it wasn't a huge field, but I feel like you pretty much got to see 3 of the 4 best drivers in the league really kind of empty the barrel and, strategy, pace, long runs, short runs, restarts. Like, you pretty much saw it all tonight, and I think it's a great way to end our tenure with the Captain eSports Network, putting on a good show there at the end.
Yeah, it was a fun show, and obviously going to victory lane to cap it all out this year, this series. Second most top 10s, second most top 5s. So I mean, obviously the work continues there for you as you seem like stat-wise get better and better each year. I mean, maybe not as many wins here and there, but still just consistency-wise.
As better as everybody else has gotten in this league since this car came out, I'll take a win when I can get it. I'd already resigned myself to that streak that you mentioned ending, and never would have thought I'd have won at Homestead if I couldn't win at Indy and Michigan and all those places.
Yeah, it definitely paid off for you, man. Well, great job, and send some shout-outs whoever you like to.
Oh, man. Shout out to all the sponsors we had this season. The Leaf Guard of Vermont, Sim Racer Hub, Steve Melnick. I'm not going to try to pronounce his company again like I did in the State of the Series. Takamura. Okay. I think I said More, and I guess that'd be Italian. But shout out to him. Shout out to Kyle Hall with Powder Cup Plus. Hate that he couldn't be here the last 2 weeks, but hopefully he's here in 2023 or 2025. Almost at 2023. Damn, a lot of time has passed in this league. Shout out to Austin Bloom for coming on, and he's kind of the in-race admin a little bit. He clears the black flags and handles that stuff. Because if y'all saw the rig that I raced on, you'd probably cry when you compare the relative performance. I am not in a position where I can easily reach over and clear black flags and all that. Like I said at Daytona, I know we went 3 wide by myself on a restart trying to clear some of these black flags. So shout out to him. Shout out to all my team. I know that none of them were here tonight, but I hope they're having fun wherever they are. I know Husby, I especially hope he had fun, but we're not going to get into that. We can talk after the broadcast about that. But yeah, shout out to all the league members, everybody that watched. I mean, we got 2,000 Facebook followers. Good viewership. I probably was a little down tonight. Who knows? But we got our loyal viewers that tune in, and then last and mostly, I want to thank you, man, for the last 2.5 years. You've done so much for the league. At times, you were the reason that I continued it going when we would have 10 cautions a race and 2-day-long Discord arguments following each race and all that. Your enthusiasm and commitment to the league and reinforcement, always sending me those messages about how well ran of a league it is and all that stuff. I appreciate it so much, and you've put on such good broadcasts. I wish we could have got you for season 1. You were booked up on Fridays back then. And,
That's a story. That's
yeah,
great story.
But
I learned to answer my emails.
Yeah. But hey, man, I mean, it's still 70 of the last 110 races, still the majority, and for you to be here, like I said in the notes, like the last 30 or 43 or whatever it was in a row, that's I mean, you showed more commitment than most of the drivers do. So shout out to you, and like I said, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us, man. I hate that you're going, but I get the reason that I'm not gonna. Unlike some people last week, I'm not gonna try to talk you out of it. I know the justification, and it's the right thing to do. So I hope you enjoy your last. However many broadcasts you have left, it can't be too many, but hate that we're kind of the first one that signs off from you here. But yeah, man, like I said, just thanks for the last 4 seasons and all the great broadcasts.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate it, and I know we've talked plenty off the air and stuff, and it's been a lot of fun, and you're well organized, and I even showed a split second of your notes that you even sent me tonight on the air.
Oh boy, I'm glad they were sanitized.
Right. Oh, I looked. I was like, I'm gonna make sure they're clean. But no, you the hard work is definitely well noticed by everybody, and obviously when this Gen 4 car gets here in season 9, which should be your season, thinking about a season 9, but you're getting rid of the number, so.
Well, I'm going to keep your number. I just, unless they're not going to give us an Intrepid, you and I both know that. So I'm going to change it up.
And... he's going to run the Ambrose Ford. Look out.
No, God, I'm not running a Ford. But no, you'll see me. I know you'll probably tune into a broadcast or two next time we get in, and you'll see me in it's probably some familiar schemes. You know me. I've got too many favorite paint schemes from back in those days to make my own. I'd find some replicas to run and all that, but. Yeah, it'll be different. Like I said, I'm so glad I was able to write history and run the 03 scheme and make up for it. It was such a hard decision this week to figure out which paint scheme I wanted to run for the last ride in the Evernham 9, and just so glad I was able to win it. Hey, this is the first time I've ever won a race in 2 races in the same scheme, because this is my Rockingham season 5 scheme. So how about that?
I'm just glad that Fatback's not jumping around. That's always a memory of mine I'll never forget. Anyways, oh man, but great.
Biggest seismic activity in South Florida history.
Easy now. Actually, there was an earthquake once when I was staying in Fort Lauderdale off the coast on the West Coast. That's a whole other story for another day. But no, great job, and no, I appreciate everything, and I know this is league's going to keep going, and they're in good hands. So appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Like I said, man, thank you so much for everything, and on behalf of all the drivers and the sponsors and the fans and everybody, I hate saying fans, but the viewers, you're one of the best broadcasters on iRacing. Once again, kind of like you were blowing me up a bit about running the league by myself. You do this as a one-man show, and you do a better job as a one-man show than some of these like three member teams do. So
I appreciate it, man. Hey, by the way, shout out to all the people watching the point standings for like the last 10 minutes on the screen. But hey,
yeah, I didn't want to. I jumped on and I was like, oh, he's showing me on the start finish line, so I can't exit the session yet.
Oh man, nice job.
Yeah, thank you, bud. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. I'll see you soon.
Yep.
We'll go from there. But now, Casey Carrington, a winner here tonight. Of course, the owner of this All-American Cup Series schedule, or at one point was the All-American ARCA Series when I first started. But yeah, let's show you the points. In case you didn't see the points, by the way. Mark Whitley wins it by 21 over Stephen Miles, 28 back to Carrington, Justin Thompson, James Silver's your top 5. Spence Thompson, Matthew Weeks finishes 7th in points, and he missed, 4 races? Austin Bloom, great 8th place finish in points this season. Zach Rogers, Nick Sargent gets a top 10 there in overall, or in the season 8 points. So, all right. I guess that's it, huh? But, yeah, shout out to everybody here in this league. I mean, I look over at the chat here. Justin Thompson, Matthew Weeks, Steve Ritter, Stephen Melnick, Brantley, you'll have a link coming shortly. Josh Dillon, Sean Plasky, Techno Wizard, whoever you are. I think it's a hidden account of, what's his name? All you guys for watching. I appreciate it. It's, again, about you guys. And I've had the honor to be able to call one of the best leagues in iRacing right here. And it's been a lot of fun to do so. And as I've said before, this league's in good hands with Casey. And I'll say it here out in public. All he has to do is reach out to me anytime he needs me for something, like advice-wise or whatever. It might not be for a stream, because I don't know. Like I said, once I put this mic off, I think it's done. But I can always help him with league stuff or whatever if ever needed. But either way, to the viewers, to all the sponsors, as he mentioned, Powder Coat Plus, I totally didn't even get that in there tonight. But Kyle Hall, obviously, Leaf Guard of Vermont with Steve Ritter, of course, Hakamura, HR Management with Stephen Melnick. You had SimRacer Hub, SimRacer Hub, and all the sponsors from in the league. So big shout out to those guys. Big shout out to all the viewers, drivers, everybody. It's been a lot of fun, and I know it was a tough decision that I had to think about this one for a little bit. And I knew when the word came up about stepping away, and I started thinking about everything, I was like, you know what, this is going to be the right move. And I think this is a perfect time. And I know that Casey will find somebody, and I mean this when I say this. He's going to find somebody better than me. So I appreciate the kind words, but you guys are in good hands, put it like that. So, all right, let's head out. Let's enjoy the rest of our week. And thank you guys again very much. And oh, by the way, I'm on Monday to Wednesday still. You can come over and say hi anytime you want. This isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain eSports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.